Okay, today I'm going to be taking a look at an Artin Digipro track. This, I had read about this, but it was out before I was into the hobby, so I never had a chance to buy them. I think these were sold at Walmart, JCPenney, and what I'm telling you is just things that I heard, so I could be completely wrong, and I really don't like making videos and stating things that I'm not certain of, but I'm just passing along the best information that I've gotten hold of. So these were sold, I guess, around 2008, 2009. It was Artin's entry into the digital racing thing. I think this could be had marked down for around $100 or so, something like that. They were very reasonably priced. So let's look at everything you get in the box. I set up a little oval on my table, and I got this used off eBay. And I've been looking for one for a while because I want to see if any of these digital parts work with the Carrera digital set. So that's the whole objective of this video, is I'm going to keep testing until something goes up in smoke. And the track comes with more than this. It comes with, let's see if you can see that. It comes with enough to make that track there. The track snaps together really nice. There are no clips in the bottom, and it's pretty nice. It doesn't have stainless steel rails, so they may need clean. They could rust. An odd thing is some of the tracks have marks down the middle, but most of them do not. Not sure why that is. It just looks a little inconsistent. So what you get is a single lane changer that goes either direction. So it's, left to right, right to left. It comes with a pit stop over there, and it comes with this lap counter system, which allows you to use ghost cars. But this is the interesting thing. It comes with 6 cars. 6 digital cars came in the set, and 6 controllers. And the controllers all plug into here. So with the Carrera set, and I like Carrera, you're going to buy a set, might have 2 cars. It usually has 2 lane changers, but the pit lane is typically an additional purchase of about $95. The lap counter is an additional purchase. Now, the Carrera set can interface with a computer or with Bluetooth now, because those things are, much more common. But for like a position tower, there's an additional cost. And even to get 6 plugins with the Carrera, you have to buy an adapter because it normally only takes 4. So when I first got it, it didn't work. This plug where the DC adapter plugs in had been pushed in too hard, and it broke the solder connection. So I took it apart, put a drop of solder on it, now it works. There's a power button up here. It doesn't light up very much, so it's actually on power. So the first test that I want to do is make sure that all 6 controllers work, make sure that all 6 cars work. And the only instructions that I found was someone had posted something on a forum, and I printed it out right here. That's going to tell me how to program the cars. So you do this a little bit different than the Carrera. For this, you're going to put the car on the track first, and with Carrera, you kind of push the code button, and then you push the lane change button on the indicator. So this is a little bit different. So I'm going to put this on here. Oh, and I got this backwards, don't I? Yes, I do. All right, cut. Okay, I made some changes. The Artin track, the cars turn left, unlike the Carrera track. So they're going to go from left to right. So I had to change everything around. So the lights come on when the car goes on. What you do is, I'm going to put the controllers off to the side. So this is controller 2. I press the lane change button here, and then I press this. The lights on the car blink 3 times, and now this car should be ready to go. But this is the thing that's curious. It won't go. It's programmed for this, but I have to program all the other cars before they're actually ready to drive. Now, if I'm only going to drive this one car, I press this down and hold it, and now all the lights are on. Okay, maybe I didn't hold it long enough. I messed around with this for quite some time, so I speeded up the video so you can see all the steps I took. I never did get the lap counter to really work. It kind of worked once and then it stopped working. At the end of the day, I got them to work, but I really don't know how. It has to do with how long you hold the button down, if the cars are on the track or not. I was able to code the cars pretty easily, but it just it wasn't very intuitive, and I found the whole system to be kind of clunky. And like I said, I never really got the lap counter to work. I never figured out how to change the names that were on there, and so it was it was kind of frustrating, to be honest. I'm starting to understand why this system didn't take off very well. It's the programming is difficult. Now I got all 6 lights blinking. I'm not sure what that means. I did get this to count down by holding this button in. This was getting to be pretty frustrating, and I think there's something wrong with the lap counter. So this is what I did. Okay, I finally managed to get it to work. It works with the lights flashing. So if I hold it in too long and the lights go solid, so it works with the lights flashing. But I also disconnected the lap counter because I think the lap counter was waiting for some kind of start signal before it would start. So the cars work. So I'm going around the track. Lane change works. I'm in the pits, and there's lights. See the lights turning green, and my car is filled up, and I can go. Again, it's fueling the car up, and you can't go until it's filled up with fuel. It actually stops the power over there until you go. So that's pretty interesting. So it's actually working. Now I don't know what's going to happen if I connect the lap counter. Let's see what happens there. But I have 135246 programmed over here. I'm going to check every car. After testing all the cars, 5 out of the 6 worked okay. The 6th one needs new braids. They weren't very fast unless you push the turbo button. So there must be something in the controller that limits the power. If I push the turbo button with this little oval, they just shot off pretty quickly. But that's kind of unusual that you have to push the turbo button. And the transformer on this track, I tested it. It was putting out over 20 volts. And it's 19 volts at the rail, even though it's calling for 15 on the side of the power unit. It's only looking for 15 volts. For the next test, I took all of the Artin cars over to the Carrera digital track and set them on the track. The lights came on the cars, but I tried all 6 frequencies over there, and none of the cars moved. I was also unable to program the cars on the Carrera track, so it doesn't look like the electronics are very compatible. Now I'm going to try a Carrera car on the Artin track. The lights come on when it goes on. I tried all 6 frequencies over here, and the car didn't move. And then I also tried to program the car using the confusing Artin procedure, and again, nothing happened. So there is, I think, 0 compatibility between the Artin control unit and the Carrera chips, or between the Carrera control unit and the Artin digital chips. So there's no crossover whatsoever there, which is a bit of a disappointment, but it's kind of what I was expecting. Okay, I've removed the Artin control unit, and I've got a straight to put in. I've got some jumper wires put in it, and I'm going to splice this into a Carrera digital control unit. I'm going to power up the Carrera digital control unit, and then we're going to see if the Carrera cars can go around and if they can activate the lane changers with this power unit. It's a possibility we're going to fry the lane changers, but I'm just curious. Okay, we have our Carrera setup in here. It's powered on. We have our Carrera car coded to number 1. Goes around nice, but you notice no lane change. No lane change. I hold the button in, and I know the lane change button is working because I can turn the lights on and off with it. Yep, no lane change. And then curiously enough, watch this. If I do the lane change manually, it doesn't reset it because the Carrera guide flag isn't deep enough to reset it. So that means that the Artin Digipro system is completely incompatible with Carrera Digital as far as all the digital components. I'm going to try to rewire the controllers to make them fit in here. Those have 5 wires, these have 4, but I'm going to map the wiring out, and so at least I'm going to be able to use the 6 controllers. I'm going to be able to use the track. I thought I was going to be able to use these lane changers possibly by changing the sensors or something like that, but if I can't reset the sensor, that means that I'm going to have to make this flipper a little bit higher so that it resets a little bit easier. But as of right now, it doesn't look like any components work. And observe this. This is another disappointment of sorts. When I go in here, the LED lights do not light up. So it does not sense that a car is in the pit lane. There must be a different type of sensor. And I think when I was examining this, there's something peculiar about that pit lane. It has like a series of strips in it. But yeah. So they are completely and totally incompatible, even structurally, as far as the lane resets go. I was actually kind of planning to redo the Artin Digipro with a Carrera control unit because I have an extra control unit. But if the lane changers don't reset, then that creates a bit of an issue. So, all right, that's something. That's a learning experience there. To sum it up for you, don't waste your money on Artin Digipro. Nothing works. And it's actually a clunky system. I had a very hard time controlling, getting the cars programmed. There's no computer interface or anything like that. I kind of had high hopes that I might be able to get something to interact, because I actually have 3 sets of Artin track, and 2 of them are 4-lane sets, so the old NASCAR stocker sets. I don't think that any of this stuff is going to work. I got some plans. I'll give an update video later, but I'm going to try to do some playing around with this and seeing if I can get some things work. But to sum it up, I would not invest in Artin Digipro. All right, thanks for watching. The drivers, I don't know if you can see this, but the drivers are unpainted. They're just white, and the cars have stickers on them for decorations, and the stickers invariably peel up. You can see they're peeling up, but the actual shape of the car seems pretty nice. They do have lights. So one of the first tests that I did was take this car back to my Carrera digital track and set it on there in the hopes that it would work. The lights came on, but I was unable to program it and get it to go. The other thing that I like about this Artin car is there's a spring in here so that this guide flag lifts up and down. I rather like that, because if you go off of one of my hills in my track, the guide flag can sort of spring back and stay in contact. I quite like that. This is the lane change light here. I don't know if you can see that. The lighting's not the best. But it's in about the same location as the Carrera one. So the track came with a single lane change. I mean, you only get one track, but you can go from right to left or left to right. It's interesting, the Carrera track has a flipper that just flips back and forth. This has a little piece that actually slides. You can see how it slides over and it slides back. Now this is part of see if we can just get this all on camera here. This is the pit lane that came with it. Again, it has this sliding mechanism here for the lane change to go into the pit lane. It has a small pit wall that stands up right here with lights in it. And on the videos that I saw of the track actually working, you know, these lights indicate how much fuel you have. And this is something that's rather curious. There is a light for the lane changer down here. But up here, there is no, there's like little ridges here. But I don't see a sensor to pick up which car is in there. So there must be sensors in these ridges or something so that it can tell which car is refueling. And likewise, this track that the lap counter hooks to, there is no sensor in here to, you know, to lets you know which car is going across the track to which for lap counting purposes. So I'm not exactly sure how they did that, and that's the whole purpose of me buying this thing, is to experiment with it. And here's one of the curves, and you can see there's no dots. So you have some track with dots, some track without dots. I kind of wish they had done one or the other. Just a couple of interesting things on the back of the control unit. There's a magnet here, and there's a magnet here. I'm not sure what that would possibly do, but the magnet is on the opposite side of where the sensor light is. And then up here, there's something underneath here. So I'm going to take this off and see what's in here. Yeah, there's a strange little wire sensor. I'm not sure you can see that, but it looks like it's hot glued in place. It's soldered to the rail there. There's like a little diode or something. I don't know what it is. Very strange. So there may be less about this that's compatible than I was hoping for. So inside we've got a pretty big printed circuit board. So I'm going to take my continuity tester. I'm going to test and see if the electric is getting through. And I came into this little thing here, and the electric was not passing from one side to the other. So I traced it in from the DC power, and it wasn't going through there. And I'm thinking that maybe that thing burned out. Maybe it's some kind of a fuse or something. I don't know. But luckily, I happen to know a guy who plays 40K who's an electrical engineer. Okay, I called my friend who's smart and asked him about this. That's actually a diode, so that the electricity only goes one way. When I put my connectivity on the opposite direction, it was connected. So that wasn't the problem. What is the problem is there is no electricity between here and here. And this is connected to where you plug the power pack in. So I guess people plugging the power pack in over time moved this, and somehow they broke this solder. When I plug the power pack in and out, there's a small spark that you can see jumping here. So I just need to make sure that the electric goes from this point to this point. And I think the Digipro will be functioning again. So I'm just going to solder a little wire from there to there. And it looks like there's another possible connection down here. So it says on this side DC2. I don't know why they would have had two possible connections, but yeah, this is we're going to put this together and see if we can get it fixed. The second, so I put a dab of solder right there, cleaned a little bit of the covering off, and hopefully when I plug this in now, it will work. And it looks like it just came loose from being plugged in and out. Yeah, now I have lights. Which is at least I got power. All right, let me put this back together. We'll see what's going on. I'm really hoping to be able to use these controllers for Carrera, but the plugs are a little bit different because Carrera uses some odd plug. But the number of wires is going to be a problem as well. But I really like the pistol controller. There's little swipers in there. So I'm going to disassemble some of these and really get into seeing what I need to do to make them work. But if I can get 6 pistol controllers with lane changers and turbo buttons, it was a good buy to buy this. The Artin has 6, no, it's 5 actually, 5 wires. The Carrera only has 4. So I got to figure out what the extra wire is for on the Artin and see if I can actually make these go back and forth. And then this swiper thing, it's not like this is the turbo. It's like this is one connection and this is one and this is the other connection, and the swiper just kind of jumps across. So I don't know what the turbo does. But yeah, we get the turbo button, the lane change button. I just got to figure out what these are for. And then this is my broken Carrera unit here that won't change lanes for some reason. And I should be able to try to put this end on here. But like I said, there's less wires in here. There's only 4 connections in here, and there are, I thought I counted 6. Maybe I counted wrong. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 6 pieces of wire in here, but there's actually only 5 wires coming down. So there's one that's not going to be used.